What is going on, guys? Josiah LaRue here, and today I'm back with part 2 of my overview of the Apple event for fall 2016, where we're going to be talking about Apple's new iPhone 7, iPhone 7 Plus, and AirPods. So let's get into it. So yeah, Apple's second big hardware announcement at the event was the new iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus. In the intro video, they had a couple of very cool features. First of all, was a brand new finish called Jet Black. Highly polished anodized covering. It looks almost like liquid metal black. It's very stunning to look at. However, in the fine notes, not something in the keynote, but in Apple's actual description, they said that this finish is highly susceptible to microabrasions, aka scratches. So if you're going to have it, you probably have to put it in a case, and then it kind of covers it up. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It looks beautiful, but it does have trade-offs, so take it at your own risk. The other big feature was water resistance. The iPhone 7 is now IPS 67 water resistant, so that is completely dust proof and water resistant up to 1 meter for 30 minutes. So there's nothing wrong with getting your phone accidentally dunked or, get a little bit of water on it or whatever. Now, the iPhone 6s was already pretty water resistant. People have already run like drown tests on it, and it goes for pretty long. But this is an official rating from Apple now with the new iPhone 7, which is supposed to improve the overall water and dust resistance. Definitely pretty cool. But of course, Apple didn't stop there. They had several other new features to roll out. First of all, a solid state Touch ID home button. That's right, the home button no longer clicks down like it used to. Instead, it uses the haptic feedback that is in the touchpad of the MacBook or in the Apple Watch, so that when you push down, it kind of taps to simulate the feel of actually clicking down, but it's actually not going anywhere. It also has an improved Touch ID sensor for faster reading. Now, that Taptic engine is not just for the home button, it's also for feedback throughout the device. So whether you're moving apps around or deleting stuff or clicking on things or notifications come in, you'll feel that gentle pulse throughout the phone. They also updated their Apple Pay so that it's a faster communication time chip, as well as supporting Japanese's Senso payment system so that you can use that on Japanese transportation and food throughout the network of Japan. Japan is a huge market, so Apple is really trying to tap into that by being another phone carrier who offers a phone that is not only cutting edge, but also supports the technology that is over there for contactless payment. Probably one of the biggest features that came out of the iPhone was their brand new camera. Now, they did bulge the back out around the camera housing a little bit more for more space, but that is because they are including a new 12 megapixel 6-lens f-stop 1.8 wide-angle lens for improved vision and clarity. It now takes in 50% more light and includes built-in optical stabilization. So if you're, shaking a little bit, riding on a bike or a motorcycle or in a car or whatever, it'll automatically adjust and straighten that image for the clearest video or photos. It also features a quad LED true tone flash, so it has 2 whites and 2 more yellows LEDs. It also has a sensor that will read ambient lighting right before the flash goes off, so if it sees something like a halogen light flickering or changing backlights, it'll flash in just the right sequence in order to balance out that image right as the image snaps, providing a better flash even in low light. Also, with that wide aperture lens, the iPhone 7's camera takes in low light far superior to any of the previous cameras. An interesting feature that had already been rumored but was confirmed today is on the iPhone 7 Plus, there are 2 lenses. It has a telephoto and a wide-angle lens. So providing the same effect as a adjustable lens on a DSLR, instead of turning it, it will take the image at both the wide angle and the telephoto, and then you can adjust on a range from regular wide angle all the way up to digitally zoomed in telephoto, so it has a wide range of depth for actual zoom. So you can take a far greater distance photo and still have very high clarity instead of getting very blurry as you would on a traditional iPhone camera. Another feature that is only available on the 7 Plus because of those 2 cameras is depth of field. Basically, it provides that cinematic shot where the person up front is very sharp and crisp, while the background is nice and faded. This is being applied in real time to your photos. So it's a setting that you can toggle on and off, but you can do that in real time and see what it's going to look like before you take the picture. Now, this is not something that is going to be shipping with the phone, which is very interesting, but Apple is choosing to release this as a software update, probably a 10.0.1 patch that is going to be coming out later in October. So some very cool features in regards to the cameras on the new iPhone. The front camera is also being upgraded to a 7 megapixel camera, so it has higher quality and better low light performance for taking them selfies as well. Now, to go along with these sharper images that you'll be taking, you also need a better screen. The new iPhone 7's Retina HD screen has been updated, so it is now brighter as well as color calibrated, so that the image you're seeing is actually the true colors and gamma range that you are taking with the photos, or whatever apps or content you are experiencing is in the true color spectrum. Very important for those who are trying to use this as a tool for photography or videography, which is Apple's one of their big pushes for this device, to be a handheld pocket camera or video camera that you no longer need to lug around a big DSLR to achieve the same amount of footage or photos that you could get while only being on a 5 to 4 inch device. Very cool. One of the other big things was the new A10 Fusion chip. Now, this is a quad-core 64-bit processor that features 2 high-power cores and 2 high-efficiency cores. So the 2 high-power ones are going to be running to process very intensive processing like gaming or video compression or video editing and stuff like that. And then when you're just surfing the web or doing very low power ones, the high efficiency processors will be running and they will be using very little battery life. Now, they rated the A10 chip as 2 times faster than the iPhone 6 in processing power and over 3 times faster in graphics processing power. Another thing that had been rumored for a while, and it was confirmed today, is the absence of a stereo jack. That's right, there is no longer a headphone jack in the bottom of your phone. Instead are 2 speakers on the bottom and 1 on the top, providing true stereo sound from the iPhone. And if you want to listen to headphones, you either use the included Lightning earbuds, or an included Lightning to 3.5mm jack if you want to use standard analog headphones. Now, for me, this doesn't really matter because I've been using Bluetooth for a very long time, and while you still need to charge Bluetooth, I can use that and not have to worry about wires or anything about plugging it in. However, for those who still want to use an analog headphones, and I do have a couple very nice analog headphones that I use for listening, you will have to use the adapter. And that does mean that you cannot charge your phone while you're listening to music, whether through your AirPods or through the adapter, which I think is one oversight that Apple had here. You should be able to at least charge your phone and listen to music at the same time as you were in the previous version. So there is going to be that drawback, but Apple is trying to move forward because they needed that space for the speakers, for the new taptic feedback engine, and the other features that they included. So Apple's trying to push the limit towards wireless everything, and here's their new iPhone. Take it or leave it. And finally, the last big feature was storage. For the first time ever, Apple is offering a phone with a capacity higher than 16 gigs as a base model. Now all iPhones from the iPhone 6s all the way up to the 7 Plus have 32 gigs standard. The iPhone 6 and 6s will continue to sell with 32 and 128 gig models, and the iPhone 7s will sell at 32, 128, and 256. However, if you do get the jet black models of the 7 or 7 Plus, you will only have 128 or 256 gigs as your options for storage. Now, as for pricing, the iPhone 7 will start at $649.99 for the 32 gig model, and the 7 Plus will start at $729 for the 32 gig model. And finally, the last big feature, which was not really a separate device but rolled in with the iPhone 7 but is an actual standalone product as well, is the new Apple AirPods. Now, because there is no headphone jack on the Apple iPhone 7, Apple is trying to provide a wireless experience along with your Lightning earpods. AirPods are basically earpods with their cords chopped off. It is actually a pretty remarkable feat of technology, but they have produced wireless earbuds. So let's get into what all earpods offer. Well, first of all, they have a very interesting UI, but it basically is earpods with their cords cut off. The stocks are directional microphones, touch sensors, as well as the battery. Then on the inside, it has a new SW1 chip. Now, this sound wireless chip that Apple is producing, they didn't really go into it, but basically it is very low power, high clarity, and it is used for calculating the sound, where the AirPods are, the wireless, getting it to and from the devices, getting everything synced. So it is the brains, and it is actually pretty impressive. Now, they have a industry-leading 5-hour battery life. Why is that? Well, because the battery is freaking tiny, and it is just embedded in the bottom of those stocks. So because it is such low power, it maximizes up to 5 hours of battery life per charge. How do you charge them? Well, you stick them back in their special white carrying case. 15 minutes equals 3 hours, so about a half hour will probably equal a full charge. They didn't give that exact specifics. And you can get approximately 24 hours out of a single battery pack charge. There's a battery pack in the bottom of your carrying case, and you charge that with a lightning cable. So how exactly do you use earpods? Well, first of all, have a new iPhone 7 or Apple Watch or with your Mac, although they didn't go into it, but they said that it will work with Macs and with iPads. Open up the case right next to a iPhone. It'll automatically say AirPods waiting to connect. Hit connect. That's all you have to do. Then take your AirPods out of their case and stick them in your ears. As soon as they're out of the case, they automatically turn on, and when they're in your ears, they recognize that and they will start playing. You can also tap beside the stock and it'll bring up Siri. And Siri allows you to adjust your volume. You can ask how much battery life is left, as well as doing anything Siri related on your iPhone. So you can place calls, you can answer calls, you can play, pause music, change music, open up different stuff, all through that. It has directional microphones in the bottom of the stock, and it will listen so that it will take out any ambient background noise and just listen to your voice. And you can also use just one if you're just trying to like place a phone call or just want to listen out of mono, if that's what you choose to do. Now again, Apple said this is compatible with all Apple devices, but they are mainly an emphasis for the new Apple Watch and the iPhone 7 because there is no headphone jack, so it's a Bluetooth wireless connection option. I'm not impressed with this. I believe the design is pretty darn ugly, and they could have gone differently. They could have increased the battery life, they could have done a different UI, and they could have completely redesigned a new headphone that actually sticks in your ears better. EarPods are better than Apple's original earbuds, but they're still not great. Stuff with actual gel or silicone tips, or a better molded ear, or even something that goes over the top of your ear fits in much better, particularly when you're being active. I feel that if you're running a lot, earpods are just going to fall out, and because you don't even have a cord, they're just going to fall on the ground. Then you got to chase them down or fall in water or whatever. I feel that Apple really could have done better on this. And for the price point of $160, it's a very expensive wireless option when there are far cheaper and better options out there. I mean, even for me, my Plantronic Voyager Legend, which you can check out my review of right here, is a great device, not only for answering phone calls, its main thing, but also for listening to audio, and I have 7 hours of battery life in that thing for one charge. So it's really a toss-up. For me, I do not believe I'll be buying these unless I already get one for a review, but I don't believe that this is really a great option for Apple to go through. Hopefully, they'll redesign it or create a new product, but in the meantime, here's Apple's wireless option to replace your earphones. And yeah, those 3 main things were basically the Apple event. They wrapped it up with Sia coming out and singing a couple songs, and that was it. Overall, had a mixed feelings. The Apple Watch is really cool, and I probably will be buying one. Maybe not right away, maybe more later towards the fall or Christmas time, but I do believe that it is a worthy successor to my original Apple Watch. The iPhone 7 does have enough positive features for me to upgrade. I have an iPhone 6 now, and the 7 would be a good push for my next daily driver. The not having an earphone jack is disappointing to me, but I can see why Apple did it. They're trying to push the standard forward of Bluetooth, of wireless, of not needing an analog jack. And they did it also for the IPS rating, as well as needing that space for dual speakers and taptic feedback engine. So there are reasons, but that being said, there is drawbacks. You cannot charge your phone and continue to play music, and you can't use regular headphones without a stinking adapter. So there are those trade-offs. But the brand new camera, the faster processing power, the better screen, the IPS rating makes this a very competitive phone, particularly stacked up against the Galaxy S7 and some of the other ones, besides the headphone jack, which everyone's going to rag on, but everything else, feature for feature, is a very good, high-class flagship phone from Apple, and I'm impressed, and I'll more than likely be upgrading on launch day as my new daily driver. So yeah, guys, that was the Apple event. Overall, pretty cool. Apple Watch, really good. iPhone, very good. Next daily driver. AirPods, I think it's going to be a flop, not only for the price point, but just for the really crappy design. But time will tell. Let me know in the comment box down below, what did you guys think of the Apple Watch, the iPhone 7, the iPhone 7 Plus with dual cameras, and the AirPods? Are you going to be upgrading to the new Apple Watch or the new iPhone 7? Is the headphone jack missing a super big issue for you? Is that a killer? Because going forward, there will be no more headphone jacks in any of the future iPhones. I cannot see Apple ever going back. So that's just something you're going to have to live with. And honestly, I do see the market going that direction in a few years, but Apple is just going ahead of everyone else. So, are you going to buy an iPhone? Are you going to buy the new Apple Watch? What about EarPods? Do you like those? Let me know in the comment box down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, you can check out my last video about watchOS and iOS right here, what I talked about right here. Remember, hit that like and subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of my future videos like my iPhone 7 unboxing. Follow me on social media, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!